I'm Greg Olson, Regional Director for the SOAN program, and this is another in our series of manufacturing discussions and interviews about topics that are relevant to the marketplace in the Southeast and our clients addressing issues that they have. So I'd like to introduce Tom Kroll, and Tom is with TJM Electronics, division of Thermo Megatech. And Tom, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Greg? Great to be
here. Good, man. And let's start off, talk a little bit about TJM and Thermo Megatech, how that all kind of came together.
Yeah, interesting. So I started a business 20 years ago called IMET Corporation. And, we started out as a product development company. It started after we tried to bring a product to the market for the disabled population, and that didn't work out very well for us. So we, like anything, changed direction of the business to make something fruitful. So, for us, product development led to prototyping because we always had to build something and test it before it was released to the market. Customers liked our prototypes, and then they asked us to build more, which, basically made us into a contract manufacturer. One thing leads to another. The business starts growing. I meet Greg because I run into trouble, like everybody. I think sometimes run into trouble in the manufacturing space. I learned a lot. Something is great about being naive, so it allowed me to take bigger risks, I think, early on to get me to where I am. But I grew the business into something, pretty significant. And, I started to realize that I was a one-armed paper hanger and I was burning the candle at every which end. So around 2018, I decided that, I wanted to, maybe join something larger. So IMET was acquired in Q1 of 2019 by a company called Logue Family Holdings. And Logue Family Holdings owns two other companies. One's called Thermo Megatech, and the other one's called the Barbecue Guru. On the Thermo Megatech side of the business, we actually make thermostatic valves for freeze and scald protection. So they're mechanical valves. They use a paraffin wax. And when the temperature changes, the wax changes phase and it mechanically opens and closes valves. They're used in rail cars for freeze protection, scald protection. So locomotives are protected and you don't have pipes bursting, things like that. We have commercial products as well. We have a commercial plumbing division and we do washdown stations, things like that. You may ask why the company was interested in us with electronics when they're more mechanical. So we have this division called the Barbecue Guru, and on that side of our business, we make temperature controllers for smokers and grills. So basically, it's a closed loop fan system that blows air into a smoker, and you could set your smoker to be like an oven. So it'll basically put in air or not to keep the charcoal at a constant temperature for long smokes of meats and things like that. So the company had struggles with building the electronics product, and they figured, hey, what's better than acquiring a company that can do electronics so we can build our own product? And in the meantime, we can also help Tom with the vision of moving forward to the next space with capital and resources and so forth. So that's what happened. And, then lo and behold, after we were acquired, my friend from TJM Electronics called, his name's Tom McCarthy, gave me a call, said he wanted to retire. And, the next thing you know, we looked at acquiring TJM, and we did. And we bought them in Q2 of 2019, rolled everything together around Thanksgiving of 2019, and January 1 of 2020. We all went under the TJM name. So, our core competencies in printed circuit board assembly, final product assembly, turnkey assemblies, electronics-based products. So, pretty exciting times, and then COVID hit, and here we are.
So, and here you are. So, Tom, I mean, how does it feel to be part of a large culture? You were in charge of your own culture, your own business, small company. Now you merge with a bigger entity, and now you have all those kind of things to navigate. So how's that going? How's that feel?
It's going quite well. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was burning the candle at both ends. The company needed more and more and more. I'm an electrical engineer. I was doing everything but electrical engineering and innovation and so forth and problem solving. I was, wearing my IT hat. I was wearing my HR hat, and these are things that I learned the hard way. So, when we were acquired, it really set me to be a more focused person on the things that I love to do. We have the infrastructure, we have IT in-house, we have HR, and, everything else that goes along with it. And, it was a great move for me, plus the capital and resources to do more. We have more people, throughout the organization. I know we're above 110 people these days, where I'm at, would always fluctuate between about 20 and 30 people. Different mindset, different culture. It's opened up my mind to learning, how a medium-sized, smaller to medium-sized company operates, but, a lot larger than what it was when I met by myself. Well, I had my team, and it was a good team, don't get me wrong, but it just needed more and more and more. So I'm pretty excited about what we've accomplished in the last few years since the acquisition, and where we're going as a company in the future.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about integration. First of all, let's start with systems. I mean, you had unique systems to IMET, and Therm Megatech had theirs. So how did that transition in the systems end of things go?
Yeah, it's never easy, because, you also have TJM systems that we
Right.
do in there. So now you have three companies who are doing things differently. Electronics is an interesting beast, as it has its own challenges and so forth. So, we took on the ERP system that Therm Megatech uses, called SysPro. And we had challenges in the beginning because they don't have as many SKUs and so forth with the parts that they build, where, in the electronic space, bills of materials, each one is different, and we have lots of customers, and the bills of materials could have 50, 100 line items, and, multiply that by the amount of customers that we have, and you can just imagine, what that looks like. Inventory is a lot bigger and so forth. So, I know we had to, sit down and really understand that. But, the team at Therm Megatech was so used to their ERP system, they knew it inside and out and so forth. So, with some customizations and things like that, we were able to really, mold things together and make it work well for the business. But, there were challenges there. It was not easy in the beginning, just figuring out how to load bills of materials, because we load bills of materials, multiple per day, many times, and so forth. So, and we continue to evolve. We're still, we're upgrading, our ERP system. We're also trying to, IMET had a separate CRM, or contact relationship manager, for sales and marketing. The team at Therm Megatech was using a module from SysPro. We're upgrading the tool. We're trying to migrate what IMET did and TJM did into, a new CRM. So all these things are evolving right now. So, nothing is ever easy. If anybody ever tells you it is, you better run.
Yeah. Now, also, let's talk about process. I know there were three, maybe four different manufacturing processes. So how did the integration of that go?
Yeah, well, I mean, some of my peers at the DVIRC, would call IMET the Wild West in the past, and in certain cases, it made a lot of sense of why we were coined that way. I did my best to put a wrapper around things with process, but it was tough. We needed more. We wanted to be ISO. We tried. We didn't get there and so forth. But with an organization like Therm Megatech that has really gone through a lot of this stuff, has a compliance department with dedicated people, it really helped. Thermomegatech is ISO 9001 and also AS 9100. So also TJM was ISO 9001, so that also helped. So, bringing in the electronics procedures from TJM, merging it, with IMET. IMET's vision was always in, automation, industry 4.0. I was always trying to force the limits of what we could do, with automation. TJM was more of a manual company, although, lots of military work, class 3, high end type stuff. So it was a neat combination, putting it all together. But having the compliance department, full-time people at Therm really helped drive that. Plus, we had a lot of process and procedure on the TJM side because they were ISO. And we quickly became ISO 9001 2015. And actually, right now let's see, what is it, May? I don't even know what day it is anymore sometimes. So we're going to be AS 9100. We could in the next weeks, we've passed our final audits and so forth. So we're pretty excited about that. But, having the resources makes all the difference, and really having full-time people dedicated to it who've been through the process made a big difference for us.
You talk a little bit about when we showed up to talk to you about technology road mapping and the integration of advanced technology. One of the things that you focused on was the fact that you had a lot of short run, small number of component kind of things that lend themselves more with manual assembly or manual tech work versus automating it. And you and the organization were spending a significant amount of time trying to apply some advanced technology to the whole process, how to maybe automate manual work. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. The team at TJM was very much used to manual work. We came in with IMET equipment and tools, and I think that there was some happy medium that we had to find there. So there was some things that we couldn't highly automate like I would want to on the IMET side. However, there were things that we were doing on the TJM side that we were able to automate. We have a flagship line that's ready for high volume, and we use for high volume that's pretty much automated from beginning to end for printed circuit board assembly. We use that on the higher runs. TJM ironically had some tools that are really great for lower runs that with some planning and so forth, we're able to use to help automate some of the processes. So we did that. So with the equipment that we had, process, and just putting our heads together, we were able to help with a lot of efficiencies. We still have a long way to go. It never ends. The continuous improvement never ends. In fact, you're seeing me here in the final days in our location at Bristol. We're actually moving into our new facility in Warminster, Pennsylvania, to be next to our sister companies. So as we move there, we're adding new process and procedure. We're going to be closer to our IT, closer to our HR, closer to all our resources, engineering, and so forth. So we're going to continue to add process, continue to add tools. We have a brand new machine that was delivered here. We didn't even install it yet because we figured we'll install the new place. But really it comes down to looking how we do business and what tools we can avail ourselves to automate where we can. We've been successful doing that just by sitting down and figuring it out.
The other part of that component is the people, and so you're merging cultures here. Talk a little bit about that culture merging process there.
Yeah. I think in the beginning, people might have been a little bit nervous about how things were going to go. You don't know the new people. We're putting people from IMET along with people from TJM. TJM is a company that was around for 30 years, continues to be our flagship. But the employees of TJM, there's a lot of long-term people, so you can imagine that, with Tom McCarthy retiring and moving in new people and new equipment, people people were probably pretty nervous about it. Our culture and our leadership, understands those types of challenges. We have very strong HR. So, I know, early on, even before the acquisition of TJM, the team came in and talked to the employees of IMED, explained and kept people in a loop of what we were doing, where we were going, what we wanted to do as a business. It wasn't about cutting heads or anything like that. So, same thing with TJM. And when we merged IMET with TJM and ultimately went under the TJM name, same thing. The team came in, communicated, and that was really the key to the success of it. We didn't have turnover and so forth. We have a strong team, and even with the move, from Bristol to Warminster, I know the team was very adamant about looking at where people lived and so forth to make sure that, we were as accommodating as we could to everybody so we can continue to grow, because it really is about the people. I posted something the other day on LinkedIn. We always boast about the equipment that we have, which is fantastic, but gee, if you don't have the people who know how to use it, it's pretty much useless. So, yeah.
Good on that. How do you upskill the people you have now? You're introducing some things to them. How do you go about training them to use the new equipment and the process?
Yeah. So, it's an evolution. I know one of the things that everybody did here, we have a quality manager here in TJM. He's trained to train. So, we basically, got everybody certified to all IPC standards, which, only some people used to be certified, so we went in and started training people the why. And, once you get people to understand the why, and you get them involved in starting to do some things, and they see, how things improve, efficiencies improve, and culture, you get the buy-in, it just starts to, roll like a wheel. Are we perfect? No, we're not by any means, but, do we take the time to make sure that we do things right? When there's a problem, do we sit down? Do we analyze it, tear it apart? Yes, we do all that. And, people saw, the efficiencies and the growth and where we're trying to go. And, for as far as I could tell, significant buy-in. Also the company, I can't say enough about the generosity of the company with regards to benefits and the things that they do for us. I'm not going to boast here because I don't want to start to upset anybody, but, this company does things for the employees that I've never seen before from a generosity standpoint. So, roll that into the culture, and you get the buy-in because people like to work here and they're compensated greatly for it in many ways.
Great. Tom, can you talk a little bit about advanced technology element when you're looking at the business now and you're getting a chance to go to a new location and approach it from a kind of a little bit of a whiteboard concept? How are you going to look at advanced technology and what can you use in the systems you're using?
Yeah, the facility that we're in now, although the technologies that we have here and the equipment is very modern, the building doesn't give the modern feel. The new facility, I got a tour the other day because they're just doing the final fit outs and so forth. I am so excited because it's a modern facility. And, the company really spent the money to do things that we weren't able to do here, including, a full conductive floor, humidity and, the types of controls in the areas that they need to be for electronics. You really state of the art. And, we're really going after a real high end customer base. So, the company's putting their money where their mouth is, and we're really making sure that we have, everything needed, it's proper, and so forth. So it really was, kind of a blank whiteboard, or, maybe I'll show old school chalkboard. But I think customers are going to be amazed at what they see there. And we continue to invest in technology, not only equipment, but staff, training of staff, but also, the systems, and electronic, software that we need to run the business. You know, it's exciting, but we evaluate everything. What's the ROI going to be? How are we going to use it? How's it going to tie into our ERP system? How's it tie into our quality system? And all this type of stuff. And it's a constant evolution, but I can assure you that what our customers are going to see at our new facility with regards to advanced technology is going to be excellent. They're going to be amazed. It's going to be, it's going to be a whole different feel, more modern feel, but we're continuing to advance the tools and put the money where it needs to be spent to be the best at what we do.
Great, Tom. Thank you. As we kind of wrap up here, I'd ask you a little bit if you can make some comments or recommendations. First of all, to business owners looking at growing their business through either acquisition or being acquired. Talk through that process a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good thing for me because, well, first of all, I don't give up, and that can be a weakness. Sometimes you have to draw the line in the sand and realize, when you're not, moving, in the right direction, or not moving fast enough to keep up with the times and so forth. So, I've always been a huge advocate of networking. That's why, so adamant about the local manufacturing alliance of Bucks and Montgomery County, and the other local organizations like, DBRC, Bucks County Economic Development Corp, things like that. I've always been involved as a business owner. I really roll my sleeves up and so forth. And then what that allowed me to do is really, meet a lot of new people, and you never know everything. And, every time I go to a meeting, every time I talk to somebody, I learn something new, and I have another tool that I could put in my basket. The acquisition was interesting for me because I never put the business up for sale. I didn't go through the traditional exercise of, maybe going to a broker or whatever, people do. What I did was I just went out and talked to peers, and, explained to my peers what troubles I was having. And I could tell you the manufacturing community locally in Bucks and Montgomery County, and even the other surrounding counties as well, it's very strong. So if you're open to communicating, and can not feel stubborn about sharing issues, people are really willing to help, and so forth. And the acquisition of the company happened because of conversation, with somebody, and that led to a lunch meeting, and that led to drawing out, perhaps a possible acquisition on a piece of paper at the Metro Diner on Street Road. And I'll never forget it, but it was a win-win for everybody, and it put me in a better place. I'll be frank with everybody who's watching this. I was concerned about my health. I put everything into the business, and I sacrificed a lot, with family as well, things that are important. And I really had to have, heart to heart with myself about, what's important in life. I love what I do, but, family is the most important thing. And, I needed to find that work-life balance. And, it all came about because of networking. And that's the honest to God truth.
That's great, Tom. Thank you. And I really appreciate those insights. And I'm hoping that continue to be very successful with your endeavors. And thank you for sharing your time and the insights on both technology and business development through growth. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Greg. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Tom.
Have a good day.
Let me